Let me ask you a few questions. What subject matter exactly? Like what flowers you had in mind to learn today?
Easy ones.
Easy ones. Okay. Yeah.
Easy ones.
I have idea. We got chrysanthemums in our backyard. So what about chrysanthemums for the flower part? And then we'll learn some basic birds maybe. Okay. So let me see what you have. Can you see? Can you show me what you have on your setup? Can you show your table? Yeah.
Yeah, I have to take this down. Let me see.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that would be good. So we don't have to see each other's face, but it's good to see each other's table. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. Uh-huh. Even better. Okay, great. So you have I cannot see the head of your brushes. If you pull it down a little bit, you yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, I can say you didn't get the basic set of 3 from us, did you?
I don't think so.
Not. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see the basic soft, the white one on your right hand. Yeah, that could be good for the flowers, and yeah, one of the stiff brush, maybe a medium size.
Is this
The yeah, the 2 large brown ones are too big for petals. Maybe good for leaves, but for the leaves you can use the 7 wolf one. Yeah, that should work. So I can pick the same brush. You see, I don't have the 7 wolf. You can use a regular stiff hair. Let me see. Okay, so I think you got something like this, maybe a little bigger. Yeah, that would be too small, but for small petals, it's okay. So we can doesn't matter. You can use any brush you're familiar with, maybe. So what paper you got? It's
mulberry.
mulberry. Okay, mulberry. Okay, let me get mulberry. For the flowers, actually, it's good to use rice paper. You know, the finer textured one, like unsized paper would be good. But it doesn't matter if, for this study, we can use that. So you got ink.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't poured it in, but I have it.
Okay, just a drop of ink will work. Okay, let me enlarge my.
Just a drop.
Yeah. That's it. And you can dilute it with. Let me just use. You have a plate. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use a plate, like a little saucer. Just dilute the ink, maybe on a different scale. Oh yeah, you can just use the water dropper, just a few drops of water, and dilute it into a gray. Let me see, yeah. So I got some dark, some gray. You don't have to make it even, just so we'll load that. Are you familiar with the chrysanthemum? Let me show you.
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, it's I realize that it's a very simple one here in the stores, but if you look at the one I have here, you can see it's quite complicated, but don't worry, we'll simplify it when we paint. So you can see that, right? So if we start from the petals, the petals, I wish I can show you a bud. There's a little bud on this side, if you can see. It's tiny, but basically, let me show you the. I got a illustration here by my teacher. Okay, let me just enlarge this. So the bud comes like this is a closed. The petal, form a point, right? And then they gradually open. So the next one is curved. You can start from the middle. It's like 2 strokes from top down. Can you see?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, it's large enough, right? I try to paint near the life size, so it's not too big. The flower at the beginning is very small. You can not even see it here. It's right here. If you can see, this one has the green petals called the sepals, right, covering the actual pink petal. So this one here I'm doing, and so I didn't do the sepals. If we add that, it would be something. I think this could be a sepals itself, and then it opens, and the sepals gradually opens like that, and there's a stamp, right? So this is the bud part, and the next will be what we see here, the blooming, like this one, right? So in the middle it still holds like a little bow shape. So we'll do it from the center. You can also do the outer shape, outer petals. The large one in the front, so basically we do it from top down. This is a stroke. It's known as the nail head. Let me enlarge it so you can see. This is called a nail head stroke versus the teardrop. So there are 2 kind of beginning and ending, maybe. Teardrop. That's 2 kind of stroke. One is you start like a heavier, so you pause it, form a little. We're not trying to do anything. I just show you. This is the idea. You start with a pass, a dot. So it's not like you just draw like that. Okay, you hide the tip, and you form a little. It could be rounded. It could be horizontal to the vertical, to the line you draw. So it's a different direction. It could be just like a dot, like a pass, and then you go. So this is the beginning of this kind of stroke, and we have this stroke like this start. So you don't just draw like like that. So you stop and then go, and then this is called the rat tail, right? The end of it. You gradually lift it, okay. And on this side, the long petal like this is the opposite. So it's known as a teardrop. Teardrop basically is a pressing stroke. You start with no pressure and then you press down. So that's a basic difference. So this one starts heavier. This one starts light and then press down. That's a teardrop. That's a nail head, right? So basic two kind of stroke. This one is like a turn around, a kick back to form a teardrop in the end. I guess that's the idea. So can you do this kind of strokes? Just you know, it could be very short. So when we do this pedals in the middle, you always start a stroke with a nail head, right? And then you curve. You could be curved or straight, and you know every stroke has a start. Has a little. If you look at the pedals, actually they got something on the tip. That's yeah. That's why we put a accent at the start. Yeah. So and then you just put a little dot at the start of the pedal. That's the idea. So it radiates from the center. So it's there's an imaginative center with the stem maybe, and it just keep opening gradually like that, and it could be you can just add more and more, and it will develop into a full bloom flower chrysanthemum. There's a simple kind of chrysanthemum maybe you see in the flower in supermarket. It's more like this, or daisy kind of. So today it's just basically radiate from center. It's less complicated than these kind of curvy leaves, like petals. I'm sorry. Yeah. So we try to paint this one with the life model today. So maybe we can practice some, and then we'll do a complete painting. Let me do one full bloom, more like this, right? Or notice there are some variations, like some more pointed. We can do this one maybe. This is relatively complicated, but don't be scared, because in the middle is still like just like the little bud we did. So there's a little bud in the center, and because the perspective, you don't you can only see some short lines, suggestively on the other side. So it's like if I draw a an abstract form, it's like this, right? So the point of the pinnacle, the high point is here, and then you develop a second layer is gradually open, but it still point to the center. The center is a little lower, right? It's voided actually, so you can draw it all pointed to the imaginative center. These are nail head on the right side, on the left side. you stop at the top, and then pull the brush. On this side, on the right side, sorry, you start with less pressure and then just stop. Okay, I didn't show you the holding of brush yet, right? You want to learn that? If you hold like a pencil, it's not easy to use the wrist. The wrist. If I take my glove out, I can show you. The reason we hold the brush more like this is to free your wrist, not just use your fingers. So you move in a larger range, so you can draw longer lines like that, right? You use your wrist. You hold the brush like this. First of all, grab the handle with your thumb and the index finger. Okay, and then you pull the brush inward with your middle finger, so the brush leans towards you, and then you push it from inside with your ring finger and the small finger together like this. And you can try to move your middle finger so the brush can twist. So you can adjust it. My brush is bent right here, and you want to turn the brush, and so the brush keeps it straight, right? So you can move your middle finger. Even during the stroke, you can move the handle, twist the handle, so the brush stays straight and pointed. That's the advantage of holding the brush this way. But you don't have to always twist it. You can just adjust it with your wrist. Can you show me your strokes? Let me see your.
I'm not sure how to make the petals.
Okay, yeah. So to load the brush correctly, you need to use a piece of paper towel and just dry the bottom of the brush after you wet it, and then you load only the amount you need. Which you can test it with a similar paper. You can use a piece of maybe Wested painting before, or you can just get a small piece, and then you try it before you touch the papers. You can use a tissue even, and just try to see the amount of the ink and also the tone, if the tone and the ink is correct. Okay, you can try that. If you want to paint it slower, you just load less, and so you can paint slower. The paper you use, let me see. Maybe you got too much water, I think. So just dry the brush and do it again. So this is just for getting used to the absorbency or smearing. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about composition. Just get used to the paper. So I will keep drawing this while you do, if you want to follow. So for this one, we'll do one. You can see there some variation of tones, right? So we can get some dark on the tip of the brush, add adequate amount of water. So it's a dark darker gray. And you start from the center. So you just draw 2 strokes to get 1 petal, and then you add 1 to the left and 1 to the right. You don't have to do 2 strokes of the initial one. So 1 in the front and 1 to the left, 1 to the right. And then you just keep going, 1 to the left. It's like a little candy cane shape with a curve. And this curve could be half open or closed with the previous stroke. Okay, and then we do the right one. Remember there's a stop at the beginning, so the stroke has a little head. We call that little nail head maybe. So then you can just put a little, if there's space, you could just put a suggestively few dots. So that's the center of this flower. Okay, so I see there's still smearing. Your brush maybe is the brush all wet at first, right? So first of all you need to soak the brush, right? And then you dry the brush. The bottom of the brush should be not completely dry but almost dry, so no dripping. And then you load the ink. And then just test to see, and then you go. The paper you use should be the same. I think, is that number 1 mulberry? Looks like.
I don't know how to water for me.
Did you get from Blue Heron?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. It looks pretty smeary. This one I'm using is considered semi-size. So if I just stop there, it won't smear. See, even for a minute, it won't really smear. That's maybe a little different than yours. So for yours, you need to get the brush thirstier. Yeah.
Do I put your picture?
Do you have other paper not so smearing?
Special, yeah.
Yeah, try a semi-sized paper or something different. Okay.
This is yours.
Uh-huh.
Mulberry.
Mulberry, number 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's say if we want just do a straight, like a sunflower or a daisy kind of. Let me move to the easy one. So this one maybe we should start.
Yeah, I think we better.
I realize that you're a true beginner. No problem.
I'm also not very good at copying.
Uh-huh. Okay, so if we do this daisy one, but the stroke are the same, like we talked about. It's let me describe. So you can put a dot in the start in the beginning as your center. So we have a later. We don't have to dot it, but in the beginning we could do this, but leave some space between the petal and this imaginative center, because there will be anthers, like a little center, like a sunflower center, kind of thing. So Well, if you like, you can even dot more. Just form a little round shape, like a little sunflower. You know, understand? The seeds are, you know, that's the answer actually. So you can form a little center with dots, just little dots. Try to hide the tip, so the dot is a little round shape. It's not easy to do a round dot, but through some practice you should be able to do that. Let me do it again. So just keep the brush straight, and you can just shake a little bit maybe. Don't overlap, just yeah. Can you do this? Just round dots, and make a little oval shape, maybe not perfectly round, but it's like a little center for daisy, kind of chrysanthemum. Just something like that. Can you do this? Yeah?
Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, so do you, okay, it's kind of small, but I think you got it. Then you can do the pedals, okay? Don't worry about the tonality, we'll deal with that later. So the next thing we do is to start, you can, if you read the illustration here, can you see which stroke is first? And tell me why? We try to read the sample. So
not the nail, but the chair.
okay. The answer is this one, the one on the left, the horizontal one, because it's bigger and it's darker, it's more firm, because the brush is more with more moisture. So this one is more solid, right? So don't reload the brush, so you'll get all the variations. All right. Don't reload after each stroke or each petal. If you keep going with the clockwise, what's the last pedal you see here? I think it's the one under it, right? Can you see the rhythm? So there's a moisture change, there's a tonal change, everything comes natural. The trick is do not reload. Okay, here we go. Just keep drawing. Even you make a mistake, you just keep drawing. Okay, 1, 2, that's the first pedal. 3, 4, all right, and then this is let's just use a clock. So we're at noon or 12 o'clock. It's not perfectly straight, you know. Now we start to draw it from inside out. Okay, if you look at the trace, it's a teardrop. Now it's turned to teardrop. So it's more little press than lifting. Okay, so after 3 o'clock goes down. This is 4. I don't have a let me see, 12. Is this okay? 4, 5, right? Yeah. Okay. And then 6. Okay, 6. You don't have to do 6 straight. It's you know, you can be leaned to the left a bit, and then finally goes back to the original sequence and the direction. So look at me. My strokes start from outside in again on the left side. Do I have to change my hand? Do you know? You know, if some students do not know this, they will try to do it all in one hand, one direction. So they would you know, rotate the brush handle. So I don't do that. I just keep the handle in the position basically like this. A little slant, maybe. You can hold the brush straight, but a little slant is okay. So on the left side you go from outside in, and right side inside out, and so something in between it's up to you which one. You could go either way. And outside, So basically, if I draw a cross, maybe on the left side is from outside in. So I use this arrow. Okay, and then on this side of the axle is inside out. Okay, yeah, do you understand what I'm talking about? So the stroke goes from inside out. This is the center, right? Let's do it again. Don't worry about smearing or ink tonality. We got the stroke correct is most important. And then the ink tone will come out naturally. If you just see the second one, it has 2 layers. It could be done in one load. So you got all the tonal changes, from dark to light, from wet to dry. Okay. Should we do it again?
Okay.
Okay. So we start from the lower left a little bit. I think that's where teacher Zhang, my teacher, did this sample. Okay. Then the second one is a little overlapping, so not completely sure. That's okay. We just overlap. So the first stroke is short. It goes behind the first one. That's okay. The third one is more exposed, and they even have a little triangular shape on top. That's okay. We don't have to copy exactly, but notice the variations is good. Mm-hmm. On this 11 o'clock one or 12 o'clock one, if you will, it still goes outside in. It's on the almost vertical, whichever you feel comfortable. Now after passing the 12 o'clock, I'm going from inside out. Okay, 1. I put a stop at the end. At the end, that's teardrop, 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 and teardrop. You don't have to have the same length. You see that gets shorter because of the perspective maybe, or just convenient of my movement of the wrist or my hand. So I'm getting longer again. I feel more comfortable here to do longer strokes maybe, and then I have to add one more to fill in this gap. That's okay, as long as my stroke is correct, right? So that's my first layer, and then without reloading, I will repeat this second layer. The second layer is behind the first one, and pointing, the end all point to the imaginative center of the flower. So radiate from the center. See, look at this one. It is in between the 2 petals in previous layer, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one. You can do a little another one behind maybe. Don't have to be exactly, but relatively in between two previous. And on this far side, it's more suggestive. So you just put 2 dots without extend the petal. And this one between 12 and 10, 11 and 10, you just do a little, longer dots, and maybe on top you can do and then between 1 and 2 or whatever, 2 and 3. And getting a little looser too, because it expand, right? Expand. So you see there's some connection stroke. You don't have to repeat, but that sometimes it just happen when you do fast. You have this little hook thing, like this, like a little hook. It just come naturally when you do with the speed. You don't have to deliberately copy that. But sometimes because you can kind of go back, that create a little hook, kind of kick back, snap back at the end. That comes, that creates this kind of interesting ends of the pedal, right? And then according to your needs, you can adjust the with the additional pedal, or just add one dot or something, just fill in the blank sometimes, like that. It's all possible. Okay, so what we try to learn here is the stroke. It goes with a sequence, with a certain kind of calligraphy. Doesn't matter what the real flower is. We have to first learn the stroke. Then when you look at the flower, you know where to look and how to depict it in calligraphy. Okay. Are you following me? Let me see how good. You can do a little bigger so I can see.
I do think so.
Yeah, try to feel it. Yeah, try to do a real size. This flower is almost it's a small flower because this is reef blooming from last year's. We got from a chrysanthemum society show. It was twice big, maybe three times of this big. It's almost like my hand size, my palm size. Yeah, could be very big. We call this a lion head, I guess, or a crab shape. Yeah, it's quite big. But this one, daisy ones, we do is relatively small. But you can see it can go up to maybe 5 layers. So you can add a third layer. If we, I'll start over again, and you can finish what you're doing, or you can start another one. Maybe another one we'll do from the center. So, and you can stop at the first layer. It will be a small one, and then if we enlarge it, it will become more complicated, a large flower. So let me do 4 layers. This time we don't dot the center. We form a negative shape of the round center, and later we can use yellow to fill in the answered or the pollen color in the center. Understand? So this time I try to load the brush so I have enough to cover everything. And let me start over again. I just clean the brush so not my brush is clean, right? So you got clean water in the bottom always. I don't load all the way to the bottom, to the base. So I load maybe 1/3 to half as a light gray. You can see it actually will rain into the base, but I can still see the gradation here, right? So that's where we got the light. So we don't try to get the light on the palette. The light is in the base of the brush. It come out in the as you go. So I'll touch the light, the dark again. So let me just create some strong contrast like we have on the sample. Can you see my? Let me do it on this corner here. Okay. If you want, I can zoom in a little bit. And remind me to zoom out. Sometimes I forgot. Okay, let me show you. So I'm starting from the 6 o'clock, I think. This time. From outside in. 1, 2. Right? I have a start. I have a pause at the end. Notice the opening. So the two, just like you see the real petals, it has a tube kind of formation, in something on the end. So it's not a complete. The two petals, the petal has like 2 lines meet at the beginning. It has an opening. Okay, it's a little opening. we call that exit or entrance for the qi, for the breath. Okay, so leave a little space between the two. Don't close it up. Okay, and then we do a short third one, and then a little fourth one, and then the fifth. That forms almost a half circle. Keep an eye on the shape of the void, round shape. And I go from inside out now. 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock could be behind the 6 o'clock a little bit, create more interest. So do you see that negative shape in the middle now? I can dot a little bit if if I need it, just the edge, just fill in a little gap if needed. But basically, if you do well, you don't need to add extra stroke and form a nice round center. That's what we want. And if I keep going, I'll get lighter grays, and it will create this kind of variation from solid to void, from firm to soft edge. Okay, so where the second layer is, I can touch maybe a little dark. Is between 6 and 5, 6 and 7. Am I wrong? Because I have no idea how the clock. Let me see if I can bring the clock. Do I have a clock app here? Clock app. I try to see the clock. I don't have. I have digital clock. Here, how do I show that? Stopwatch timer. All right. So between 6 and 7, 8 and 9 or something. Yeah, forget about the number. I'm not really good at numbers. Just between the two pedals of the previous ones, add extra pedals, but you don't have to really fill in the blank or something. Just not stacking on top of the on top of the pedal would be nice. Just that's because I think it's our according to natural principle and aesthetic principle also to put the pedals. Realize the pedals I did just getting too short. That's a problem. That's a mistake. So you want to correct that. You want to make this longer and longer. That's a little bit hard to. So we have a tendency to do maybe the first layer long, and then we get shorter and shorter. That's maybe a different flower. But for chrysanthemum, the outer petals are longer. So make sure these are longer, extended, longer. So it's almost like at least the same as the center ones, or even longer, larger, and larger tip. So that gives you. So let me just extend that. Now I have to worry about the outer shape. To keep it round, let me just add a few. The outer shape should be rounded, right? So make all the mistakes while you practice, and then later when we actually do a complete painting, you have better training, memory. So this is the complicated one, and you can add a few more on top. So my outer shape is it's oval or little off perfect round with perspective, of course. So the center is not exactly the center, is more on a little upper. So this lower part is it's longer. So the tip, the petals on the top is a little shorter. So that creates the perspective, as you can see in real flowers. This is more complicated, so let's go back to that later. Okay, let me see what else we haven't. Oh, here's a series of this kind of flower, the blooming steps. So in each painting, as you can see in real flower, there are different stages of blooming, right? You can see here. See, they are half bloom, and there's still bud here, little bud. Yesterday was not open. Today it's open. This branch, it was from our garden. It was accidentally broken by gardener, so I picked it up and put it in the vase. And it's very strong flower. It after one day in sunshine, it almost withered, but with water it just come back and start to bloom. I can feel the consciousness in this plant to fulfill the flower. So that's the kind of vitality that even we got in the vase. We still need to capture the desire to bloom. Okay, a little bit aesthetics. So it's different than still flower. We just talk about shape and light, form, that kind of thing. In Chinese flower and birds painting, we try to capture the vitality, the scent, something invisible, Okay, if we tried this, let me see. I just pick a few from bud to full bloom. Let me just do a roll like this, maybe. And we just do a bud, like we did earlier. So it will be maybe 5 or 5 strokes, like from a little triangular shape, but it's a little rounded, and then the the sepals, right? Sepals underneath it in black, maybe. That's what I see. And you can also see a little tiny kind of sepal, like little leaves, kind of like that, and with a little stem. That's a bud. And we can do a little larger one, so middle, right and left, and just suggestively some tip on top, and then add a little dark sepal on the bottom. There's a you can see on the back of this flower is a little calyx, calyx in dark ink there. And this could be on the same stalk, and same the stem grow out from the same point. Actually, it could be 2 flowers, and then the third one could be a different place. It could be different. It could be the same point. The grower usually cut off the extra one, so let the one flower to bloom bigger. That's a main. But by nature it could be like this, multiple flowers. So there's little leaflets around at the joint of this stem, like this. Okay, the half bloom, the half bloom is like this. So you do like 3 petals as we did earlier, right? Then start to lose one, maybe on the left, like this. So just 1 petal, and then a shorter one on top. Almost like a hand gesture. Something like that. Or there's something like this, or thumb. Or anyway, in Chinese opera they have maybe some kind of gesture in flower fingers, if we call it, like a chrysanthemum or orchids also. So this is the idea, and then you put some dots under it. They are sepals, and the little leaflets. We'll talk about the leaves later. So at this point, we just concentrate on the flower. So this is the half. We already did this one, earlier, the half bloom. So if we complete this one, it's almost a full bloom. It's almost like this one. The full bloom could also be seen in the profile, like a side view. So in the side view, you only do the front side, right? So you start from the. I would do the larger one, the one in the front first, and it kind of radiates from the center. Okay, you can keep the same kind of direction like we talked earlier. So this upper right side, your stroke goes from inside out, and the left side it goes from outside in, right? So this is the outer shape, and then you add the center. For the side view, you do the front first, and then the center. You can also start from the center if you want. I think it's also possible. You just do this center petal like in the front, and then you do something behind, like this, and then on the left and the right. Yeah. Okay. That's a side view. It's almost like we have flower here, like this. Yeah. See, side view. You see this one here, this little one. Yeah. So that's a side view, and then full bloom, of course, if it's or 3/4 view, it's the best. We do it from the center. So let me enlarge this one so you can see. Can you see that? Notice the dense strokes in the middle. It's about almost just like the unopened one. So 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 strokes, and then you can have some on the other side of the rear. Okay, then the left and the right. Okay, start to bloom, and you can combine some shapes. Interestingly, right? I think you do it naturally. You just do the tip of this little standing flower petal, and then this one behind. Sometimes it combines. It becomes just don't complete the shape of some petals, and then you'll form some kind of combined shapes. That's very interesting to see, just a little variation. So these 3 are done in a group. So you might borrow one. Say this one is borrowed by 2 strokes, 2 petals. I mean, see, I omit one in between, or you can consider one is behind the other. Doesn't matter how you explain it, but you don't have to do always 2 strokes for each petal. It could be shared. You can share 1 stroke to create a dense overlapping group, and then there's a individual petal that's contrast to the group on this side, and you can stack them vertically, maybe just one on top, something like that. So you combine two almost into just a little bit suggestion here. There are two petals overlapping. That's interesting. So this is just more variations, and you can have notice the one in the center is most wrapped in a ball shape, and then you start to see more cursive, or a little cursive opening, and then get straighter and straighter at the end, at the outer line, right? Something like that. So you get more straighter and straighter. You see, I don't really copy each stroke here. I just kind of, you have to look at your own painting and don't count the strokes of the master, but try to just complete your own with the same principle, which is the natural logic, the logic of the radiation is one logic, longer and longer, from curly to straight, this kind of principles, and you will create your flowers very freely. You don't have to look at the real flower. The real flower just prove your principles you learned from the calligraphy samples, calligraphy painting samples. All right. Yeah, your practice could be twice bigger, so I can see and you can see. maybe you have a good eye. I have to wear my reading glass these days. Okay, so that's flower. Let's do leaves. Our time is flying. Okay, let me finish this. Let's use a different paper. So if you have this kind of unsized paper, you can use. Actually, the one maybe you got is more absorbent. It's considered like unsized. So that's why I changed my paper to unsized paper. This is Schwan Confucius brand. Rice paper roll like this comes with a roll, a small roll. So if we do this, I'll use a soft brush and soak it first in water. Let me show you the water. Sorry. Okay, now you can see my water supply here. So I have several sections. If you can use different cups. So I soak it, and then if I need, I can use clean water to load. Okay, I use a little ink and get very light gray, and a little darker gray on the tip, without blending too much. So if you look at on the scrap paper, you'll see the gradation of my loading. But don't try this too many times, and then you have to reload it again. Just a little test. All right. So if you look at this page here, we already got leaves, right? Let me see. I think we have. That's a colorful one. It's a complete one. Maybe I just do this one. It's too complicated, huh? Different shapes of flowers. It's a little. Which one is easier? Maybe one of these. We don't have to do three.
Do whatever. We can
Okay.
all just watch.
Okay, just watch. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Usually we do the flowers, then the leaves. Okay. Let me just do this one. This one looks easier. And I also can do the leaves first. So in this case, let me just do the leaves. So the leaves is look at the real one here. It comes with notches. They're not just a one simple shape. It comes with sections, little leaflets combined. You can do that. So if I illustrate this on a different piece of paper, you can do. This is the sequence. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strokes combined. So from top. You can also reverse that order. You can do it from front to the back. It just depends on convenience. Like here, I did from top to the bottom. Then let me do it from tip to the bottom. You can also do that. But you see this little notches. That's the characteristic. You can see from here. The real flowers has that kind of. See that notch, right? See that? Yeah, the hole between that. So that's a characteristic. And then without reloading, you exhaust the ink. You'll get all the variations. Okay, and I just use the dry brush to finish this kind of woody stem, right? So relatively drier than the leaf, right? It's because I did the leaf first, so I don't have to draw the complete stem. I just draw, but you have to keep it continuous, unbroken. Notice the start of the branch always in the painting. It starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This 8 positions, without right on the corners, right in the middle, in the center. So if you start from this area, this, there are 8 areas you can start painting. So these are good starting point, right? So let me do this petal first. Just repeat what we just learned. See, my hand does not change position. I just keep in one position. So on the left side, I draw from outside in, inside out on this side, right? And here I draw. This flower is a further bloom. Actually, you see the greenness in this petal here, right? It's almost like this flower, same kind of flower. So looks like a pattern of something interesting. So it's a variation. Don't be scared by this kind of. Just keep the clock in mind. Just do the clock. Yeah, you can add. I think there's very little, lots of millions, zillions of petals in the center. That's how it is. Yeah, just keep this like that, and it goes. Change directions now from and from outside, from inside out, like that. Yeah, I didn't put a stop. That's not good. So just put a stop. Because this paper is absorbent, and the brush is kind of soft with a lot of water, so I have to move fast. Yeah, you have to adjust the speed. So without hesitation, you can avoid smearing. Okay, and it looks very complicated. We have this kind of curly hair style. We call it chrysanthemum style, right? Something like that. You are familiar with that?
No.
No? curly. Yeah, we just maybe in the 80s, ladies will make a lot of curly you have to use little round tube kind of
Roller.
clips. Yeah, that to make this kind of. See, I draw on this side always inside out, outside in, and then I changed it. See this, you will see the long ones start to. You can see the little long ones, right? Yeah, it will become longer and longer. So I can do something behind this. Overlapping always good to create depth because behind the leaflets. Yeah. And just 2 strokes. So you can draw the first stroke freely, and then the next one you have to consider the width of the pedal. So you have to follow that. That's okay. That's it. And then because this is a practice, I'm not going to use color today. If you want, after it dries, you can apply pink and a little green, yellow in the center, something like that. And I see a dot. I see a dark, little shady center. I just dot with some ink, maybe 3 dots, to indicate the center. That's it. You can let me see what they are. Yeah, you can maybe dot that one. Don't forget the calyx. On this one, it's behind. It's 3/4 view. I don't see that. Maybe on this one, you can draw a little calyx with dark. Just the indication. What about the veins? The veins could be added with a little smaller brush, and you can see that it goes from the bottom to the tip, always. Okay, and if it curves, if you draw, you should always draw with curved line. It curves towards the tip, not the other way, not round like that. So it should be. This is the center, and then the secondary veins goes like this towards the tip. Okay, understand? Yeah. Don't do it like a cone, too straight or something. So the 3 sections maybe. Because this is a freestyle, we don't have to draw too detailed. And you can see the veins close to the top, to tip is shorter and closer. And this is just the suggestion. This is closer, and then wrap it, and you can have a little secondary there, and just like that. There's little leaflets on the joints. Maybe you can put some dots like this. See the dots on the joints, right? This one here, and just adjust the composition. You can put a dot there, or in the air. Doesn't matter. Here we have a little. The line could be thin and let it smear. When you have to add it before the ink gets dry. So that's the idea. So it become more integrated, harmonized. If you add it after dries, it's possible, but keep it thin and dry. So the line is not so stiff. It's soft. It could also work. Oh, sorry, it blend your view. Sorry. Let's say if there's any space we can do to sign and here. So you can sign or date on this side, or you can do it on this corner. He has a seal on the left corner. So let me just do it on the left. Okay, let me just write my name. You can just write English name if you want. Just doesn't matter. So let me write. he used the word 写生 means with life model. Yeah, that's I can also I think maybe I should write on a different line. 写生 means with life model. This is a chrysanthemum flower sketch from life. Okay, and if you have seal, let me show you. Okay, and then you put a seal under it or on the side. I think usually it's under the signature, not on top. Or you can even cover the stroke if you don't have space. Yeah, that's it. So this is my demo. I will take a picture and send to you, and we have the recording link, so you can follow the recording. You can use the slow mode to slow it down if I did too fast. Okay. Any questions?
No, I have a long way to go.
Yeah, don't be scared. I didn't have time to do the birds today.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. But it's more difficult than flowers. So next time. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy. Have a good weekend.
You too.